Have you ever lost your keys, misplaced your remote, or even lost your wallet? Imagining not being able to know who your kids are, what their faces look like, or know where you're at. These are just simple things that we take for granted, and people with Alzheimer's live with this on a daily basis. Before we started, I gave someone a popsicle stick. Can the person with the popsicle stick stand up? You represent 1 out of 5 Americans that have this disorder by the age of 80. I'm going to have a seat. I'm going to talk about the history, the signs and symptoms, who it affects, and the future of the disorder. Before I discuss the history of Alzheimer's, I just want to differentiate the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia. And I'm going to do it with this slide. Right here, dementia shows that it's an umbrella effect. It goes over such thing as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Now a little bit about the history. In 1901, there was a family who had a grandmother. Her name was Auguste. They were seeking help because she was constantly paranoid, really lost, memory loss as well. And they went to the doctor, Dr. Alzheimer himself, and he studied her for a few years until she passed away. He really didn't know what was going on, but after she passed, she had an autopsy done. With the autopsy, it shows that she had significant brain and tissue shrinkage. In 1910, medical examiners and doctors started using it, named the disease after the doctor himself, Alzheimer, which is Alzheimer's disease. And I'm going to show you a little bit what happens and what goes on in the brain, what was going on with people who have Alzheimer's.
The neurons contain shuttle vesicles containing neurotransmitters and synaptic proteins from cell bodies to nerve terminals. A protein tau stabilizes the shuttling structures. The tau becomes abnormal and is unable to hold the structures together. These form neurofibrillary tangles within the neurons. The collapse of the transport system may disturb the communication between the neurons. These tangles may cause neuronal death, leading to dementia.
The disease gets worse. The disease just gradually gets worse over time. There's 7 steps in the process of having Alzheimer's. So I'm going to show you this slide. As you can see on the slide, step 1 appears normal. Step 2, kind of noticeable. Step 3, it's mild. It's really mild. Forgetful, things like that. Step 4, that's when family members start to notice it. At that time, you're going to consult a doctor and whatnot, but again, there's no cure. And then gradually it gets worse. You can no longer, this is step 5, you can no longer personal affairs. You're going to need care. Step 6, you can no longer care for yourself. You're depressed. You don't know what's going on. You're just in your own world at that point. And step 7, you're going to need 24-hour care, constant care. You're going to be bedridden, bedbounded. Signs and symptoms, what you look for, it's going to be memory loss, confusion, loss of your motor skills, and loss of daily activities. Now the disease progresses at different rates with different people. People with Alzheimer's, they become vulnerable, and Alzheimer's doesn't kill people. It lowers our immune system. Pneumonia is the #1 cause of death in Alzheimer's. Okay, now my wife's grandmother, she's had Alzheimer's for 10 years now, diagnosed Alzheimer's for the past 10 years. At first, she didn't know who the kids were. She was going outside, getting lost, constantly paranoid, looking out the window. And eventually, and currently, now she's in a nursing home where she has to have care for her. Because she's, I would say, in step 7 of Alzheimer's. My wife's one of a million families affected by the disease. Experts suggest that 5 million of Americans have this disease, and it's ranked sixth in the nation for the leading cause of death in the U.S. Now, according to Alzheimer's Association, every 67 seconds a person develops Alzheimer's. Every 33 seconds, another person's going to develop Alzheimer's in mid-century. And by 2050, people that are 65 years and older will develop Alzheimer's from 5.1 million to 13.8 million, like you're going to see on this next slide and chart. See right there? It's 2020 all the way to 2050. Currently, there's no cure for with clinical or non-clinical trials. However, many will lose, and they will not be able to be covered with losses of memory. I've talked about the history of Alzheimer's, I've talked about the signs and symptoms, and I've talked about the future and who's going to have it. The disease is not only increasing, but there is no cure. It's very important that we find a cure for the procedure, or a procedure that's going to slow or prolong the Alzheimer's rate. So, thank you.